Hi and welcome back to a very dull, wet, not so cold, which I'm grateful for, mid-January afternoon. And in today's video I'm going to be giving you a almost 6-year update. And the reason for doing it now rather than the actual 6-year anniversary of my ownership of the car is that it's just been through the dreaded MOT in the UK. It's an annual test that we have to put the car through, and if it passes it's designated as roadworthy and you can continue and use your car. And that has just been completed in about a week or so, just over a week ago. And I'm happy to say that it's pretty much flew through. One of the problems I've been having in previous years is that it's just scraped through on emissions, and the reason for that, it's not a problem with the car itself or the engine, it's the fact that I'm only doing short around town journeys. And we'll come on to that a little bit later in the video. But this time I took it for a pretty reasonable drive of about 30 odd miles, and going up through the rev range, cruising at about 60-70 miles an hour. And this year it just passed the emissions without any problems at all. So how many miles have I done in it this year? A total of 1,705 miles, which is not a great deal really, but I'm retired or semi-retired really, so I don't have a commute, hence the low mileage, and other reasons why I haven't used the car much this year, but that's perhaps for another video. And there's a fly in here or something. Anyway, ignoring that. So what I've actually done to the car this year, or had done should I say. Last February I had a transmission mega flush done, and that involves replacing the entirety of the fluid in the transmission, and also I had the 2 diffs, the oil replaced in them. I had the job done by a chap called Bodsey, and I'd highly recommend him. I'll try and put a link in the description below, but if you have a look at one of my past videos, 2 videos in fact, one on having the job done, and there's a video of how he actually changed all of the transmission oil, and also an update. I will go into all the costs later on in the video so you can see how much I've spent on it this year. But the job was quick and easy. Bodsey turned up, and within a couple of hours the transmission oil was changed, and I must say I can see a difference in how the car drives and changes gear. It's smoother, and it doesn't tend to hang on to the gears as long as it used to. So, and it's preventative. I mean, it's, as far as I know, the diff oil hasn't been changed since the car was new, and it was, in my opinion, overdue. So that's why I had it done. And again, as I say, I'll go into the costs in a minute. The other issue, and it was a bigger issue, was a restricted performance. The horrible red triangle of doom came up, and I diagnosed it, and it was code P006A00, relating to a manifold absolute pressure, mass or volume, airflow correlation problem. So in other words, there's a difference between the airflow on one side of the inlet manifold to the other, by the turbo, I believe. I might have got that wrong, but bear with me with it on this. And it usually means there's either a blockage, problem with one of the mass airflow sensors or pressure sensors, or it's a leak in the inlet manifold. And it's an extremely common problem on these particular cars, especially the 3 litre TD V6s and the 2.7s, I believe, as well. And at some point in your ownership, you'll probably experience this issue. So there was no alternative but to have the job done. So I found out about the issue when I went on a long drive to Devon, an emergency run. And I'd experienced a restricted performance come up a couple of times, but potting around town, it was not a regular occurrence. So I just ignored it. But on the way down to Devon, accelerating up to cruising speed, up come the Triangle of Doom. And when I got back, I diagnosed it as I said, P06A. So I've booked it into an independent mechanic that I use for the jobs that I can't do on the car, and the inlet manifold was replaced. Again, costs soon. And there was a noticeable improvement in the drivability of the car, in addition to the mega flush and the improvements that made. And it picks up better, it seems to drive better. If you've driven a car for a long time, you know its foibles and how it drives. And after the manifold was changed, there was a big difference. Better drivability, acceleration is better, and just an all-round good experience, to be honest. But now I'm rambling, aren't I? Some people have commented that I should have had the offside manifold changed at the same time. Now, it wouldn't have been much of a cost saving, to be honest, because what you do to one side, you've got to put all that back together and change the other side. It's not something that you do with the body off. In this case, it was done with the body on. So what has to be done to that side has to be done to that side. So, and that one looks really good. There's no evidence of any problems or cracks or leaking anywhere. So I decided to just have the one done. And yeah, that was the only issue I've really had this year with the car. So yeah, it's all pretty good. So how much has all this cost me? Let's have a look. Well, the mega flush and diff oil change cost £350. The manifold, inlet manifold change was, including VAT, £930. And this really broke the bank. A rear wiper, which I changed just before it went in for its MOT, at the outrageous cost of £9. So in total, what I've spent in maintenance and problems this year is £1,289. If we include the tax, road tax and insurance, which has gone up by £200 this year, and it's due again in April. So just to have the car sitting on the drive costs £1,205. So I'm not going to, yeah, okay. If you want to include that in running costs, which I suppose we got it really, haven't we? So that's £2,494 the car has cost me this year. to do a total of 1,705 miles, but then that's not down to the car, that's down to me and my usage. Also, people have said and commented that, you know, why do I hang on to the car if I'm not using it? And I have mentioned in a couple of videos that, yeah, I've thought about it myself, but I've decided ultimately now, and I don't think I'm going to change my mind on this, is that I'm going to keep the car for a number of reasons. I just love the car. It's one of the best cars I've ever owned. The drive in it and the view you've got over the road and the seating position, it's extremely comfortable, and it's just something that you've got to experience. So if you're thinking about buying a Range Rover, I'd just go and have a test drive in one, and that should give you an experience of what it's like to drive. Ownership is a little bit different because, yes, they do have issues, but all cars have issues, and this continues to have a few that I've got to rectify this year, and which will be the subject of a fair few videos in the coming next 3 or 4 months. So, yeah, and the value of these cars now has really dropped over the past 12 months or so, and perhaps a little bit longer than that. And if I was to sell this now, I don't know, I'd probably get, what, £4.5, maybe £5,000 for it. And for that, and having to buy another car, which, yeah, admittedly would be probably more economical and cheaper to run, but I don't really want to do that. I enjoy this car too much, and my wife absolutely loves it. She says it's the best car we've ever had. So, and you know, you can't really replace that. So I'm going to put up with its foibles and its little niggly problems now and again. There are other jobs that I need to do on the car, as I've just said, and they will be rectified. So, yeah, I'm not going to ramble on too much more, but in a couple of days' time, I'm going to release a video giving you an idea of what I've got to do on the car, or I want to do on the car. I hope you've enjoyed this little video of my 6-year update, and yeah, look forward to more on the Range Rover Sport very, very soon. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.